So, the difficult thing about doing these videos is deciding on which course of reasoning to take. You can take a biblical course of reasoning. That's been done before. And besides using biblical reasoning, especially for the unenlightened and the undergraduates, is a very dangerous preoccupation, and it shouldn't be done, really. It's wise to read the Bible, but until one's heart is exposed to the majesty and the magnificence of the poetry therein contained, it's our view that one should hold off on formulating opinions about the book. For instance, it's 4,000 years ago, the internet was predicted. A king was predicted who was going to be faithful and true and have congress with the Lord. And like, this is a pretty big deal. But you ain't seen nothing yet. Like, this has all happened. This is done. It's a done deal. Slam dunk, 100-pound hailstones. We could call those bombs. Can we stretch? Can we see how 100-pound hailstones are going to fall from the sky, creating waste and devastation, scorching the earth? Not only that, but there's going to be creatures that fly through the air with wings that don't move, and knees that don't bend, and wheels where the feet should be. They make a huge noise, like the thundering of many rivers converge. And there's eyes in the wheels and eyes in the wings that obey the eyes in the nose of the creature. And not only that, but there's a crystal dome of sorts set back from the nose, wherein sits the light of God. And you got your popes and cardinals and, rinky-dink, born-again wastrels, basically, humping the Jesus thing for a living. You're so fucking stunned. The beast. Yeah. The beast is George Bush, Obama, Condoleezza Rice. Colin Powell didn't get to sneak out of this. He knows he's in there like shit sticks to a screen door. Colin Powell's in there as well as Condoleezza, baby. Boot fucking the American people out of trillions and trillions, untold trillions of their hard-earned dollars on wars that had no business happening, other than to have a rummage sale, a weapons rummage sale of sorts with the Saddam Hussein thing. Like, they could have done Saddam Hussein for the same price as Gaddafi out of their eyes. Why spend $17 trillion just on Shah and awe alone? Now, who the fuck knows? Nobody even knows how much the U.S. national debt is, really. Why is that? Like, everybody should know exactly what it is. It's a penny. But where there's gray area, you have the possibility for crime to occur. And people who worship their secrets more than their own God, more than their own sanity, and more than their fellows' lives would be candidates for that characterization. Can we say that? You're afraid to see the reality. It's just too heinous, too sick, too vomitous. The United States imports a lot of things from other countries, automobiles from Germany, rice from Thailand, firecrackers from China. But its biggest export is war. Why would that country be seeking peace anywhere? I submit, we take the profit motive out of war, it ceases to exist. Like, think of the beneficiaries of the Iraq war. BP oil is the only one that comes to mind. The U.S. government can't really be siphoning off all of those. Like, think of it, all of the Iraqi oil is being pumped out. As much as they can pump out of Iraq, they're pumping out of Iraq. But the fruit of the pumping does not go to the Iraqi people, nor does it go to the people of the United States. It goes to the principal shareholders of BP oil and the people responsible for this largesse in the U.S. government in the form of commission checks. We would theorize Swiss banks would be usually the most dependable. Your leaders are stealing you blind, every fucking one of them. And if they're not, they're humping a donkey for the first fucking chance they can get, so they can. Con artists and thieves, rounders, pimps and rounders, whores and sluts of every ilk, spiritual, religious, fiscal, political, academic, medical, every fucking which way you exist, you're hooing it. Living like you're on somebody else's dime. Somebody else pays, not me. So I'm making of Kings, and I gotta get this place in shape. I gotta fix this fucking mess. I'm also the guy in the white horse in Revelation. It's all happening just like it's written. Not even I can fuck it up. No matter how I try. So, this is how it is. You have a god, you have a king, you have queens as well, gorgeous queens. But you need to worship the truth in order to avail yourself of these inheritances, basically, for yourself. And lots more where this came from. But the thing is that you need a consciousness shift. You're worshiping what they can prove. Just tell them everything. Be done with it. Empty yourself of the shit you're trying to hide. And I promise you, enlightenment will occur for you. It cannot not. And like that, I tell you what, if it doesn't, I'll give you your money back. I'll double your fucking money back. Give it a shot. What the fuck have you got to lose? Take a good hard look at your life today. Odds are very, very high that you're dying of loneliness, constipation, and an invalidative predisposition to yourself and to others. Either covert or overt. You're sexually malnourished, emotionally deficient and malnourished as well. Your psychic offerings to each other are below that dogs would offer each other. You sniff each other's turns of wit and throw laurels around them. Anyway, so as you can probably sense, I'm not real happy about the shape that the condition of consciousness this planet is in right now. You're perverted, all of you, demented right out of your fucking trees. You got the people in Hungary now who are better than they got their another nigger looked down on the gypsies. Just kind of everybody's got to have a poor people, right? And you want to keep them poor. You don't want to get uppity like in the United States. I think it's the governor of New Jersey, big fat guy studying about the universe, telling everybody what a lovely hand job he's going to offer them, but no money. You got to stay poor. Because if you're not poor, then I can't be rich. I'm not really all that rich. There's lots of richer guys than me, so I have an investment in you staying poor. This is how the fucking system is operating. You're too stupid to see it. I was too stupid to see it. It's like omerta. It's unwritten operating principles of this fiscal universe created in North America. It's a buggery of business. It's a buggery of the laws of God. It's a buggery of man-made statute law. But they got the carrot out in front of you, you know. Don't listen to this guy. The carrots, I can see the carrot. I can see it right in front of me. Fuck him. I'm going for the carrot. That carrot's getting more and more expensive every day. I'm the king of kings. I'm not going to lie to you. I win after you do. I think this sucks. I've been arguing with Allah about this for the last 2 or 3 years, and I've lost. This is how it is. So, no matter who you are, you need to get things how they are. It doesn't matter whether you like them or not. It doesn't matter whether I like them or not. So, you're my children. You're my problem. I do not have the luxury of failing with you. Everybody else has had that luxury. Jesus, Muhammad, everyone else. You don't. My orders were fix it, period. And, you know, you're so sick. I don't know where to reach for you. You got a beautiful mother. Who I love. More than you can imagine. Who loves me more than you can imagine too. And, you know, if you stick around, you'll begin to see some of that. If you worship the truth. If you don't, you won't. You get what you worship. And today, faster and stronger and more pronounced than any time in the annals of human history. Wake the fuck up. This is the last day. I'm your King of Kings. I'm also the guy in the white horse and a few other people. If you stick around and you listen, you may learn something. That could make a difference. For you. Today, right now. Don't have to wait till you die. The promised land is here today. And it's inside of you. Okay? You got too much lies and thefts and sneaky greeds to see it. You need to empty yourself of the heavy shit you're carrying around. Does it make sense? It's like, It works to have a shit. You put some food into your mouth. It works to have a poop sometime after that. Okay, many people have a shit like once a day, eat 3 times a day, shit once a day. Can we see an imbalance, a predisposition for imbalance occurring here? Well, I hate these people that shit maybe once or twice a week. And can we see a predisposition for imbalance to occur here as well? They walk around with all kinds of fucking medical symptoms as well. Doctors don't ask. Nobody's asking questions because nobody gives a shit. And if we don't like the answer, well, we just suppress it. Yeah, I hate to belabor this. I spoke at length about this in previous times, but the city of Toronto spent $4 million on an analysis of the chlorine in the Toronto water supply. And what the scientific research showed was that with regard to colon cancer alone, there were 1,400 deaths attributable to colon cancer and the chlorine in the Toronto water supply annually, and 4,500 new cases of colon cancer directly attributable to the chlorine in the Toronto water supply annually. That's one form of cancer alone. And that, the only reason I know about that study was it was a one-shot deal in the 6 o'clock evening news. Never heard from it again, or of it again. Now, at the time, I was teaching yoga, and I thought, geez, that's interesting. I killed 1 or 2 yoga students in my classes, and fuck, the government's all pissed off. They want to throw me in jail, all kinds of shit. These guys are whacking 1,400 people for sure a year on one disease alone because they don't want to admit that the chlorine isn't a good idea to be drinking in your drinking water. Its job is to kill shit. Kill subtle shit. And the medical community doesn't, make too much noise about this because A, it's good for their business. A little bit of poison can't hurt profit margins much. Does it make sense to you that if you're going to be poisoning water, you fucked up the water so badly you shit in your own fucking drinking water so badly you can't drink it anymore without poisoning it first? Does it make sense to you to take the fucking poison out of it before you drink it? Can we see a fucking light go on here? At all? Hello? You're fucking weightless. People say, well, chlorine doesn't kill me right away. I'm 63 years old. I haven't been drinking chlorinated water for a long time. I've been, taking fairly good care of myself and exercising most of my life. I haven't for the last decade or so, but prior to that, and now we are. But everyone around me, certainly my age, is best friend with umpteen doctors. I sat around and did nothing for the better part of 10 years, 7 years. And wrote a few books, but didn't take care of my body at all. I ate institutional food. I was in jail for 2 of those years. Crimes that never happened. Convicted by sitting jurists with no fucking complainants. Cops had no fucking complainant, and still I was convicted. It's called the guilty plea, get out of jail free, or get out of jail today. Application of justice. It's how the wheels of justice are greased in Toronto, Canada, certainly. And in our case, for sure. 19 months of known torture. Not a whit anywhere in the sight. No interested legal talent whatsoever. I had to paw through 4 different legal firms to finally discover that I was not going to get any wit at all, any place. Certainly not on legal aid. Even the lawyer said to me, at the end of the day, if you want to argue that this thing you were not given good legal representation, I won't have a problem with that. Corbin got out. Didn't ask the right questions. Now, one of two things is true. Either the right questions are unapparent to them, in which case they've got no business being in the business they're in. Or if the questions are apparent to them and they say nothing, they have no business being in the business they're in. Why pay people to bugger the laws of the land? That's all a lawyer is. Why not have honest cops and honest judges? You have to get rid of the cunts right away. Get cunts out of fucking justice and corrections. It perverts them, twists their goddamn fucking minds right off the top of their heads. They can't do it. Just can't do it. It's like going backward in lifestyle. Can't do it. When we start, and most men can't either. So it's not a good idea to have too many people in jail. The most any country should have in jail is like 10%, 1/10 of 1% of the population at any one time. The United States has 6 and rising. Yeah. 62.7% of men in jail in Canada, and certainly in Ontario, Southern Ontario, Canada, are innocent of any crime, languishing in prison for 10 months, a year, 19 months in our case, before they're given the sign here and you can walk home today. It's a guilty plea, but it doesn't mean nothing. You have the charges anyway, so what the fuck's the deal? Make everybody happy. Sign here. Change a single comma in a document and get used to another year in Lindsay with Mr. Fraser and his sweetheart, Jimmy. I said, no wit anywhere. A psychologist, psychiatrist told me. I said, I've been convicted of nothing. What am I, why this attitude? He said, the purpose of prison is punishment. That's why we're here. So, I was being punished before anybody had any certainty of my guilt whatsoever. Denied bail on 3 different forms of grounds, primary, secondary, and tertiary grounds. But they didn't bother substantiating any of them. It's impossible to fight a criminal charge from behind bars, effectively. Just is. You've got limited access to phone, and it's extraordinarily expensive, and it costs the people you phone, you can't pay for it. So they make communication for anyone incarcerated extraordinarily difficult, if not impossible, with the outside world. And say, well, you got a lawyer. lawyer who's giving the Crown hand jobs. The judge, maybe, maybe not, doesn't matter. It's their little dog and pony show. You're a fucking outsider. You got nothing to do with anything other than, how much they're going to hump you and how much money they think they should suck out of you before they dispose of your issues. It's generally based on how much money they think you got. Conrad Black was sentenced to 6 years in the United States prison system, and I question whether he spent 6 months in fact, behind bars. He was on appeal bail when the sentence ended. He had to go get processed, go back into prison, and come back out again. So there's adequate justice if one can afford it. So you're all a bunch of whores and sluts. Every fucking one of you. Covert or overt, doesn't matter. It still keeps your residents in hell. If your life is perfect, you're not having any difficulty with it, and everything's taking a boo with you, your health is fine, your relationships are fine, your wealth is fine, everything's working for you, then you don't need to pay attention to any of the stuff I say. Matter of fact, I'd prefer if you didn't. But if you got a hunch that there's something more to life than you're being shown right now, and you want it, and it has something to do with truth and no more bullshit from nobody, especially your leaders, then pay attention to what we're saying. Because one way or another, somehow or other, we're going to get through to you, and this is going to happen. I'd just like to empower you to give me a hand. Help us out. Start with yourself. Worship is true. It's inside of you to do. This is your King of Kings. And this is your Sunday, 10th of November, 2013. Message from the Crown. We work for you. Hell, really, but we serve you. It's our only job. You worship the truth, you get to know us all kinds of stuff. Some of it's really good to know us.